So the number one problem facing organizations today is the lack of potential leaders to fill the pipeline for those coming along. What happens in our career when we're successful? We get promoted, we move on, at least we hope we do. What happens when we leave a position that we've had responsibility for? We need someone to come up behind and fill that role. If there are no individuals who are prepared to step in as leadership, what happens to organizations? It falls apart. They drift. And when an organization begins to drift, it begins to be less profitable. That's okay if you're a nonprofit, but I try not to run nonprofit organizations. So where do new managers come from? Well, there's two ways to hire a new manager. You can promote from within, or you can hire from the outside. Unless you know of a third way to get someone into a role, those are the only two I can think of. Statistics show that anywhere from 65% to 80%, which I recognize as a fairly wide swath, but it varies based on the size of the company, 65% to 80% are hired from within, which means that you are opening up holes behind every time you try and promote someone. And when you're doing that, who are you usually promoting? Anybody want to venture a guess? Who do we promote? Star performers. We tend to call them subject matter experts. You're the best salesperson, you should run sales. You're the best programmer, you should run R&D. You're the best marketing analyst, you should therefore be the chief marketing officer. We do it all the time. It doesn't make sense in the long run, but we do it all the time. Why? Because it's easier than going out and trying to find someone to fill that role. Let's just look within and take the best person we have. The problem is we have no idea whether that individual has any management skills or aptitude for management. They may be perfectly suited for being a subject matter expert. They may have zero skills for being a manager. And let me assure you, the job that you do on the first day as a manager is dramatically different from the job you did on the last day as a subject matter expert. The very first mistake that most new managers make is in the definition of management. Management does not equal control. If you look in Webster, the definition of manage is to control or direct. I'm here to tell you that in my experience as a manager in almost 30 years, and all of the people that have worked for me, I can tell you that I have absolutely no control as a manager. Who has the control? The people who do the work have the control. The people who are on the front lines that are producing the units of work that make the difference in your organization, they're the ones that have the control. You as the manager have the authority to respond to what their control lets them do. But I cannot force an employee to do something they don't want to do, nor can I stop them from doing something that they are really set on doing. I can only respond to their activity. So in reality, I have no control. And this is very difficult for most new managers to recognize. Everybody seems to have the Al Haig syndrome. You know, you remember those of us old enough to remember when Reagan was shot? And Al Haig standing in the press room at the White House saying, I'm in charge here? How many new managers tend to walk into their first day on the job, I'm in charge. Things are going to be different. You have no control whatsoever, so get over it. What you really need is a different perspective. So let's redefine the term of management. Management really is a job of influence. We must influence others to perform in a specific way or to behave in a certain manner that advances the objectives of the organization. But the key word is influence. It is not control. You may have heard from other subject matter experts that you cannot really motivate people. People need to be self-motivated. I agree with that. I cannot force someone to do that which they do not want to do. I need to find a way to influence them to do what I need them to do as a manager what the company at large needs them to do.